What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 118 of Next Gen Newsweek. My name is Mitch. Joining me, as always, Richard.
Hello.
And Chase.
Hello, hello.
We have a great show for you this week, like we always do. For the first time in what feels like forever, we have mostly Xbox stuff to talk about, because like we said, we were talking about the end of last week's episode. There was a developer direct that started, right after the show or shortly after the show. So we're going to be going over all of the stuff from that here today, along with the Games with Gold for Xbox, the PlayStation Plus games for February, and some other interesting stuff. But we're going to start the show off like we always do and talk about what we have been playing this past week. Richard, would you like to take it away?
Sure. Not much. Like I said, I don't want to get logged into something that's going to take a while, because Hogwarts Legacy is coming up like next week. So I did a 100% run. I finished Steam World Dig. So I'm about to start Steam World Dig 2. I've been playing Roblox again with my daughter. And then a little bit of Fortnite.
Nice.
And a few retro games.
Oh.
Yeah. That I now can't talk about because it blows my my surprise releases. So handful of retro games.
Yeah. Which what Richard's talking about is his new series on our channel, Dick Retro Plays the Classics, which uploaded a video of playing Castlevania last week, which has been kind of taken off on the channel, which is really nice. So ready to see that keep going. No Hi-Fi Rush, Richard?
Oh yeah, just a little bit. It's not my problem is I've never had a problem with rhythm games. I've been really good at it, but for whatever reason, it feels like my timing on this particular one is like 1 second off. I don't know if it's because I'm cloud streaming or what, but even when you've got the bar up there and you're supposed to time it, I mean, I am timing it exactly because you can see it's consistent, but it's consistently just past the beat.
I think you can adjust the latency, can't you?
I don't know. It's like there's something affecting me that's affecting my enjoyment of it, because it's putting my beat off just a hair.
It might be the cloud thing. It's not a big install if you just actually download it.
Affecting my beat off just a hair. All right, moving on. Chase, what have you been playing?
I did finish up Dead Space. I was really blown away by how good it was. I even went to do a New Game Plus and got the secret ending that they added to the game, which can only be done on New Game Plus. And it's even then, it's like really hard to trigger that on the casual playthrough. You're more than likely going to have to use a guide to figure out how to do it. It's getting great reviews across the board, and like a lot of sites are like stating this is how you should remake a game. So highly recommend that if you haven't picked it up, or if you played the original and like want like a really fresh take on the old game. It's really, really good. And then I told everyone last week I was going to dive into Forspoken, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. I feel like the demo kind of drops you in the world, but doesn't give you much explanation on what's going on. So if you have not played the demo and you're kind of interested in this game, I would recommend not playing the demo. I feel like the game, like the demo, it kind of like throws everything at you, and then like when you're playing the game, you kind of like start at the beginning and you kind of like have like learn your abilities, you learn your moves, things like that. Yeah, you just kind of get a little overwhelmed. Like it didn't hit me at first, but like once you get some of the traversal abilities down, the movement in the game feels a lot like the Spider-Man games. Almost to the point where like I want to see like a side-by-side view of them, because it looks like almost identical with a lot of the movement from the Spider-Man games. The map is absolutely huge. It is massive. You can't access everything from the get-go. You kind of have to like unlock abilities to help you with certain areas later in the game. I will criticize that it does suffer from that open world game syndrome, where like a lot of the areas you come across look like a copy and paste, but some of them are different and like slightly different. Like some of them have like different objectives, but like the area looks the same. The combat is like it takes a while to get used to, but like once you really get it, it's a lot of fun. There's tons of spells you can use, and as you play, you gain access to new sets of spells, and then like when you start like upgrading them, like they just feel really good, and like just like melting like a group of enemies just feels cool. The voice acting is super good. There's a lot of swearing in the beginning, definitely. But the main character is from New York, so I was like, all right, whatever. The back and forth dialogue between Frey and her band brace, her like bracelet thing, is very believable, and there's a lot of dry humor between them that's really good. The story characters feel very well developed, and you get like a sense of who they are and what they do, why they do the things they do. I did finish it last night. The story is really moving. There are a lot of twists I didn't see in the game, in the game. Like overall, it looks really good. They're like fast travel is like 2 seconds between anywhere on the map, which is insane. And if you're not someone that has to clear everything off the map, I feel like the game doesn't have like a ton of like just quality quests. There are like a handful of side quests in like the chapters, but like if you skip like the side quest and you just do the main story, it's probably going to be like a kind of a short game. If you like platformers, if you like action combat, if you like RPG elements, like huge open world with collectibles, like this is definitely for you. But if you're not in those things, you might want to pass on this. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
I need to start bringing a thesis statement of like everything I've been playing, and I just want to read it off like Chase does, because Chase like Chase puts so much effort into like explaining the games he's playing, and he's got the notes ready. And Richard's like, "Yeah, I've been playing Roblox," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm playing Fire Emblem," and that Fire Emblem's good. It's an anime game, Fire Emblem, whatever. Anyway,
what have you been playing, Mitch?
It's my turn with the dodgeball or whatever. So I have been playing Fire Emblem. It's an anime game, and no, Fire Emblem Engage. I haven't really been making a lot of progress with it. I've been, again, still just February is a new month, and I'm not working as much. But this month I've just been really just working a lot instead of playing video games. But I've been spending time with Fire Emblem Engage. It's really fun. Well, like I'm still like on chapter like 5 or 6 or something like that, and I mentioned last week that I was kind of moved to start playing The Last of Us Part 1 again because of the show. I did start, or I picked up where I left off because I never actually finished it whenever I got it. I played it for like an hour and I was like, I'm just not feeling it. So that's pretty much what all I've been playing, because it's not a lot other than like my usual Smash and all that stuff. I did actually watch a friend of mine play Elden Ring for about 2 hours yesterday because he had never played it, and I was like, ooh, do this. And I'll give him credit. He actually beat the tree sentinel at the beginning of the game. Like he beat it, like he just like, I'm just gonna keep fighting this thing until I kill it, and he did. I was very proud of him.
Nice.
So now whenever I stopped watching, he had gotten to Margit, the first real boss of the game, and he was getting his shit kicked in. So a lot of swearing coming out of him. So
as can happen.
It made me really want to start playing Elden Ring again. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I was like, man, I have it on PC. I have it on PlayStation. I platinumed the PlayStation version. I've barely touched the PC version. So I technically could start over on PC. But it's just about making myself do it. But anyway, that is all I've been playing. Anyway, let's talk about what games we have been playing. And wow. See, I just cannot read the notes today. We're going to talk about what games are releasing this week. God, I'll get it right eventually. I have not had enough coffee today. Starting off with everyone's favorite game, Power Wash Simulator, coming out on PlayStation and Switch. I've heard like really good things about Power Wash Simulator because it starts off as kind of like any of those games where it's just like, oh, this is really like a simulator, but apparently this game's got something where you can go to like hell or something. Like it goes from just cleaning houses to like going into like hell, cleaning shit down there or something like that. It's like that's actually kind of cool. Trek to Yomi, which
Somebody's got to do it.
yeah. Trek to Yomi, which I think it's been a PlayStation exclusive, and it's coming out on Switch this week. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition for the Xboxes. That's releasing today. Season A Letter to the Future, which I feel like we've talked about on the show before.
Yeah, we have. That one looks really, really good.
I think it was the game I said I wasn't interested in, and I got roasted for it.
Yeah. It's you bicycle and find out about the environment.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That did look good. Yeah.
SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake. I've heard mixed reviews, but I'm.
I forgot I pre-ordered that, so it should be here pretty soon.
Nice. We Were Here Forever for PlayStation and Xbox. I've heard nothing about that game.
Never heard anything about that.
Never heard it. The box art looks really cool. Football Manager 2023, only for PlayStation 5, coming out tomorrow. Chef Life, a restaurant simulator, coming out on everything on Thursday. Deliver Us Mars for all systems except for Switch.
Looks really good.
Life is Strange 2, which I guess that's been out for a while, right? It's not a new Life is Strange.
Yeah, they're just porting it to Switch.
Gotcha. Tales: The Backbone Preludes for PC, which it looks like a Fox game. That's all I can tell you, man. It looks like a Fox game. And The Pathless, which that was a PlayStation launch game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So, it's just kind of, that was a PS5 exclusive, and I think it wasn't on PS4. I may be wrong.
I think it was on PC as well. I think, but yeah, it was one of the PlayStation exclusives, and it was really good.
Well, what I was getting
if you like puzzle games, it's really good.
What I was getting is I don't think it launched on PS4, but they're making an Xbox One and a Switch version of it. That's interesting. Yeah. So we just came off of a high week with Forspoken, Fire Emblem, Dead Space, and all that are coming out. Now we're in a low period right before it's going to shift back up into the next wave of major releases. I think we have Hogwarts Legacy coming out within the week if you pre-ordered the deluxe edition, and there's a Kirby game coming out
next Tuesday.
Yeah,
next Tuesday. You got next Friday.
Actually, it's Monday night at 11 p.m. That's when.
Okay.
That's when you can technically play. That's when I'll be playing.
Well, if you're one of them.
Well,
you're a youngin', you can play it there. I'll be sleeping.
He'll wake up and I'll be like, man, I'm like 20 hours ahead of you. What are you doing? I didn't sleep.
20 hours of gaming in an 8-hour period. That's some Chase level shit.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it really is. Well, speaking of, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, PlayStation, they have free games they're about to be given out to PlayStation Plus members that were already leaked. So these were going to be available from the period from February 7th, which is, fighting for my and Richard's Hogwarts Legacy time. They're from February 7th to March 6th. They're giving away 4 games this month. Usually they only give away 3, so this is kind of exciting. They're giving away Destiny 2 Beyond Light, which is an older expansion, but still, you're getting a lot of expansions for Destiny. This is not the first time that they have given away expansions. So,
and then PlayStation owns Bungie as well now. So,
Ollie World, which I've heard good things about, but I've never played. I don't know if you guys are Ollie fans.
Yeah, there's a demo up on. If you have a PS5, you can play it for like an hour. Oh,
you have to have the Plus or Premium.
Oh yeah, you have to have that. Yeah.
Well, that's lame because I don't have that. Evil Dead, the game, which is something I'm really excited about, and this is the second platform that has given it to me for free, and I've yet to play it still. Because because they give it away on the Epic Store around the holidays. And then Mafia Definitive Edition, which is also something I'm very, very excited to play, that they're giving away for free. Because it's like Grand Theft Auto, right? To an extent.
It is.
So.
It takes place during like 20s prohibition though.
Oh, so you just can't drink alcohol.
It's good though.
You can't drink alcohol. Like not
It's
even
like
you can't even
legally.
you can't even like drink alcohol while you're playing the game. That breaks the immersion. You gotta like wait. You gotta wait.
It's weird. Ever since like the PS the new tier stuff and I got the highest tiers, I've completely fallen off the bandwagon. I don't add these to my library anymore.
Oh, I do.
I've got to get back on top of that. I don't.
Yeah.
I have it in months. So I've missed like the past 6 months of releases.
Because in my opinion, there's nothing of value for me in any of the higher tiers that I want. So this is like what I live for. Is getting these free games. Because like, I mean, I think it's cool that they have like the old PlayStation classics and stuff like that, but there's only like 3 or 4 PlayStation classics I even care about, and they've all gotten remastered. So like, I don't need the collection. Those being Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and Tony Hawk. That was my PlayStation 1 experience, and now they're all in collections and something else. So I don't even need them. But if you think that's a good list of games, let me tell you what Xbox gets, because they don't get nothing this month. They haven't ever since. So a few months ago.
I mean, wasn't that their motto for 2022 though?
Not
for the year.
Nothing. You get nothing. Yeah, Gene Wilder, if he was still alive, he'd be the spokesperson for Xbox in 2022.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. Yeah, a few months, or I guess it's been maybe about a year now. Xbox decided that they were gonna no longer put like 360 games in the Game Pass Ultimate or the games with gold, which was kind of like the selling point. It's like, oh, you're getting a lot of these old classic games for free. They've stopped doing that. Now they're just giving away like shovelware, pretty much. Like we were talking about, like the Switch shovelware from last week. This is kind of like not on the same level, but on the same level.
I think Iris. I know by the time this airs, it'll be gone. But Iris Fall is one of the games this month or last month, whatever. It's actually a pretty decent game.
Yeah. Well, this month you get For the King, which is a game never heard of, and Guts and Goals, which is like a game I also haven't heard of.
Some kind of soccer looking game.
Yeah. For the King looks cool. They're giving away from February 1st to February 28th, and then Guts and Goals is from February 16th to March 15th. They do like a weird release schedule. But I mean, it's just kind of like how they do things now, just because, like, you know, a lot of their stuff just falls directly into Game Pass. I think they're slowly trying to shift away from this games with gold stuff, because there's no sustenance there anymore. I think it would benefit them a lot to just get rid of it. But I think they want to keep a face saying that they're giving away free games every month, because that's what Sony's doing. It's just a big back and forth. And speaking of what Sony's doing, and Xbox and also Nintendo, one of the biggest stories that broke yesterday for this week, Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony, all three of the major console manufacturers and platforms, are not going to be doing E3 this year with the E3 like showcase. To which I ask, then what is the point in having E3?
Well, I don't know. Like, I was thinking that. I was like, well, I mean, they could have, like, you know, like Square Enix could have a showcase. You know, all these like other major game developers could have showcases. But yeah,
like okay. So let's go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I kind of feel like E3. I mean, it was starting to kind of slide off before, but I think it's a victim of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't have it, and then you had like Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, even like Square Enix. You know, I think that in the absence of E3, they had to do their own thing, and they realized that doing their own thing works out better
Mm-hmm.
because it's a
saves money.
more directed show. They can do it on their timetable. It saves money. And I think E3 is just one of those things that, it was awesome when it first came around, this huge expo, but as we've evolved through, these past few years, it's kind of become a relic.
It's also another case of Sony copying Nintendo, because Nintendo was doing directs way before E3. Hell, look at Richard rolling his eyes. Look, listen, hold up.
He rolled his entire head.
He did.
Yeah, you got
He
a
did.
head roll out of that.
He
one.
did. So Nintendo started doing directs like in 2012, right? And they stopped showing up to E3. A few years later, Sony's like, okay, we can do that. And then they fully dropped out of E3. So like Nintendo was still doing a direct, but they were still showing up with like demos for people to play. Sony like completely pulled out. They're like, no, we're not doing this anymore. So then it was just Nintendo and Xbox, and then COVID, and then that forced Xbox to do it, and then they shut down the convention. And now Xbox finally has gotten a method down to where they can host a show and it not be 2 hours long, I hope. And so they can do their own thing. So yeah, I mean, to Chase's point, if the other publishers show up, I mean, yeah, you could get EA and Ubisoft and Square in there, but say the Activision deal goes through with Xbox, Activision's not going to be there anymore. So like you've got like 3 or 4 developers that are going to show up when they could just drop their trailers online and call it a day. And like with Ubisoft in particular, they need to be focusing on whatever the hell they got going on and not be worrying about showing off any more trailers for anything, because they clearly can't even get a damn game out. So, but Xbox, they have confirmed that they have a showcase that is going to be lined up around the same time as E3, just not a E3 showcase, which I wonder if that means, hey, we're going to cheat on E3 and we're going to do Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest instead.
Probably.
Maybe that's what all this means. They all just show up to that instead. It's like you have like on one side of the street, you have the Los Angeles Convention Center where they do E3, and it's like nobody's there. And then the other streets where the Microsoft Theater is, and that's where Jeff Keighley's doing all his bullshit over there. It's like, this is the fun side of the road.
we got cookies and cake over here.
Yeah. It is time for this probably to go away. I will always cherish watching E3 press conferences on Spike TV through Comcast as a kid, but we've moved on. It's just as okay to drop your trailers on Twitter. But what is this quote here? There's not a good sense that there's an understanding what this show is going to be or how it will come together, which is strange from a company that does such an amazing job with PAX twice a year. Yeah, because this is like the first year that like the company who did PAX is hosting E3, because the company that was doing it they're like, no, we're not doing it anymore. So, which sucks. All of it sucks. But I would like for all of my shows or press conferences to be within a week of each other. I love that format. Instead of this, we're going to drag it out for 3 months and not let you know about it till like the week ahead, so I hope you can plan for it. Like, I miss being able to take a week off of work and just watch every trailer that I needed to and then go about my day. That was it. I
don't know. I think it kind of mirrors the industry now. You got like developers that are like, hey, we got this awesome Starfield game coming. And then like 2 years later, they're like, hey, we're working on Starfield. It's really random and intermittent. So that's the industry.
Everything is sporadic and it takes forever to get there. So
yep,
it's just how it is.
That's the name of the game.
Well, Richard brought up Starfield, which was surprisingly one of the games that was not at the recent Xbox Developer Direct that aired.
Was it though? Was it surprising that it wasn't there?
Actually, no, it wasn't, because they said it wasn't going to be there. So
yeah, they said it's going to get its own like 45-minute video.
Great! Can't wait to not watch that. Give me the recap. I don't have 45 minutes to give that game. Yeah, so we had the Xbox Developer Direct that happened last week. 5 games showed up. They were only supposed to be 4, but they like to surprise us with something they got leaked out in advance because you just can't have surprises these days. We'll start in the order that I've got here on this list here with Minecraft Legends. I am not a Minecraft person. I assume Richard probably is a Minecraft person because he's a Roblox person and he has a child. So, but this is like it's more of like a tactics, or not. Maybe not tactics is the word I'm looking for, but it's
strategy.
Strategy. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. Strategy Minecraft. And they confirmed that there is a PvP mode that's coming to it, so Richard and his daughter can fight each other.
Well,
Minecraft.
I don't. She and I still play Minecraft. She likes it, but now she never got into like Minecraft Dungeons. So I don't know about this one. I think this is like a different kind of audience. Because with Dungeons and with this, you lose that whole like the creativity aspect and the whole open world kind of exploration, survival and stuff like that. This is more story focused, and it's so weird because with Minecraft, we've never really been that interested in story. It just seems kind of weird. You just exist in this world. You can go to this thing called the Nether that really looks like hell. And then they put the Ender in there, and there was never really anything cohesive about it. And now they try and piece this story thing. It feels kind of weird. But I don't know. I mean, I've never tried Minecraft Dungeons. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I may give it a shot. I may give Minecraft Legends a shot. But yeah, I don't know. These games feel weird. And they're coming so late to give story to something we've been playing so long. And I think a lot of people, because the only time we've had story with Minecraft is at the very end. Like after you kill the Ender Dragon, and then there's like this weird like fourth wall breaking, sort of like someone's been watching you. Y'all have killed the Ender Dragon. Y'all have read this, right? Wow. Okay. Well, anyway.
At this moment, Richard realized he's talking to a wall.
All right. So if you kill the Ender Dragon, there's like this weird scrolling text where it reads from the perspective of someone that's been watching you play the game. And it's really got this weird vibe. And, I'd actually like to go back and see if they somehow reference that or explain it in Dungeons or maybe even Legends. But yeah, the only story element we've gotten so far was that really weird, kind of ending synopsis when you kill the Ender Dragon that neither of you know about. So
hey, I know of it. I just haven't physically done it myself. Even though that game came out when I was still in high school and I watched people do it back then. I've never. It was like the original came out in like 2011, I think.
Yeah, November 18th, 2011.
Yep. Watch people play that Java edition or whatever it's called. Just a footnote on this. That game is coming out on April 18th. It is also coming out on PlayStation and Switch. So Minecraft stays not a platform exclusive. So next we'll shift over to over to
we'll shift gears.
Yeah. Shift over to Forza. This is the type of Forza game I usually skip, and I'm probably still gonna skip this one because I like the more arcadey ones. Like the Forza Horizon 5 was an incredible game. You could go wherever you wanted to, and you weren't just like locked to riding around on the track. This type of Forza is not my cup of tea, but I will say the game looks like a really nice looking racing game. They've got over 500 cars that are going to be available in the game for you to get. You can customize all of them. There was like an 8-minute video that they dropped for this. I watched probably like maybe 5 minutes of it, and I was like, I think I've seen everything I need to for this. But I'm gonna applaud Microsoft for this because Gran Turismo could not do this. So I'm just gonna give them credit where credit's due. They're achieving 4K 60 with ray tracing all at the same time instead of it being an option to do either or like Gran Turismo does. And from what I can see in this video, that my computer or my internet would not let me render in 4K because apparently my internet is just dog water right now. It looked really good from what I could see, so I imagine 4 times the resolution than what I could see on it would just be damn near impressive. That does not have a release date. It is still planning on coming out this year. I'm actually going to jump around this list a little bit because I want to save one of those for last. And then we got a trailer for the next expansion for the Elder Scrolls Online, which is Richard's big thing. So, Richard, do you want to talk about the new Necrom expansion for ESO?
Yeah. So, everybody keeps waiting on Elder Scrolls 6, and I don't understand why they just don't play Elder Scrolls Online, because it's such a familiar experience, and you can play it solo if you want to, although you're going to have problems with some of the dungeons unless you group up. But the big thing with this new Necrom, now I heard you go back to Morrowind, which I don't know if it's a new area because there's parts of Morrowind that you can already go to, I believe.
I think so.
But the big thing is that there's a whole new class, which is the Arcanist. And I think that what's awesome about the Arcanist is that with the classes that you have now, they're pretty tailor-made and specific to group, whether you're a DPS or you're a healer or you're a tank. Those are pretty much the 3 main roles, or at least that's exactly what you have to queue up when you're trying to find a group, because then they go in, they kind of piece you together, because if you got straight DPS, you're probably not going to make it. Anyway, the Arcanist has 3 separate skill lines that appear to be affiliated with each one of those roles. So I'm actually wondering how versatile you can be with this new Arcanist role. Can you switch it on a dime with these skill traits? Like, could you swap it up and suddenly be, which you can kind of do that now, because you can have like multiple rollouts, I'll call them, for characters, so that you can kind of swap around what you want to be. But I just wonder if the Arcanist, it creates an even bigger opportunity to be more versatile with those 3 roles. So, and those are all, I think the skill lines and all that are kind of pulled into Oblivion, because Oblivion's going to be a big part of this. And I mean, it's great. They usually do a big chunk of content once a year, and it's big enough to keep people satisfied. And, as far as Elder Scrolls go, I mean, it's a huge Elder Scrolls world out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't jumped back in from the last one. They added like a card game, and then they added along the Upper Coast. I got it. I always buy the stuff as it comes out, but I'm always afraid to play it, because it's just, man, it pulls you, or at least for me, it pulls me in, and I stay there for so long.
You jumped in. What was that, like around this? It was about a year ago. You jumped into it, and you got kicked out of your guild or something.
I did, man, and that was such a soul crushing. I don't even want to talk about that. That just, because I don't even know if I explained it. I don't want to explain what happened, but
you did. Okay,
yeah, and it, to that much of a zero tolerance for something that, I mean, I get why I was kicked out. I mean, on the surface, I think it was legitimate, but given the fact of like how it was so out of character as something for me, as a father with a child at home and having absolutely nothing. I guess I need to preface it now. So I was in one of the open world areas, and when you're in an open area, and it was my fault, I should have had it turned off, but I had the open world voice chat on, and there was someone watching adult material while they were playing Elder Scrolls Online, and it bled through, and I was in one of the group chats as well, and it come from my TV. It was very loud. My daughter was at school at the time, so I was the only one that heard it. But as soon as I noticed it, I turned it off, but quick as a whip, someone in that group chat reported me and said that I was streaming adult material through group chat. So they kicked me out. And then, I tried to explain myself, and I explained what happened, and they the leader of the guild, she was awesome up until this point. I thought she was very understanding, but still wouldn't let me back in. So I was like, whatever. And it just, I don't know, I stopped playing for a while. But I'll probably go back in because, I've it's turned into a chip on my shoulder now, so it could give me something to do during the PvP things. I can just hunt down those guild members, go after the people I used to call friends. It'd be good for my necromancer character. She's
Yeah.
evil, so
There you go. I don't know how it's going to work out with this coming out in June, though, because you've got Diablo 4 coming out at the beginning of June, and you've got Final Fantasy 16 coming out in June. Right off the heels of Zelda, too. So
this is an MMORPG, and I don't think it factors. I think that people that play this, and there are some diehard Elder Scrolls people out there. I mean, they keep making this stuff. Obviously, it's a moneymaker. I think even if they play other games, they're still devoting time to Elder Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as them competing with one another, yeah, that may be a factor. I know that I don't know. I got to look at the release schedule. Somebody's got to take a back seat. I don't know how close Final Fantasy and Zelda are.
Zelda is May 12th, and Final Fantasy is like June 16th. So there's like a month apart between those two.
Month apart. Okay, well, in that instance, I'll probably go ahead and get Zelda.
Yep. See, I'm in a similar boat because one of my most anticipated games of this year is Redfall, which is the next game we're going to talk about. That comes out May 2nd. So you have 10 days from when Redfall comes out to do whatever you need to do before Zelda comes out.
But now, hold on. Isn't Redfall just like an online game? It's like not a...
No, you can play it single player or you can play it multiplayer.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know it was story. I thought it was like some kind of weird vampire battle royale team based thing.
No.
I was wrong.
It's basically I kind of got the wrong impression on it, and then someone said, "Oh, like a lot of people are saying it's more like a Fallout with vampires."
I thought it was like someone said Far Cry.
Far Cry. Sorry,
yeah,
Far Cry with vampires.
Yeah, because everybody thought this was going to be a looter shooter, kind of like a Borderlands type game, and then, I think it was a developer that said, "No, if we had to compare it with something, it's more like a Far Cry experience." Yeah, we got like an 11-minute gameplay trailer for Redfall, showing off like all the characters, showing off their new abilities. The guns, I didn't realize that the guns had wooden stake, what are they called? Bayonets on the end of them. Like you could get those kind of attachments and stuff like that for them. And that's just so clever. They showed off like a super like impressive skill tree where you can completely like just max out these characters and make them just completely ridiculous in battle. All sorts of different types of quests you can do and how you like can take back the island. This is the trailer that I did watch all the way through. I was so excited for this game last year. Because after playing Deathloop, and that was like my first like arcane game that I really got into, I was like, oh my God, I love these. This is great. It's like, I need more of this. And like, oh, by the way, Redfall's coming out soon. It's like, oh, okay.
Nice.
It is super gory. It's got some moments where it can be kind of spooky. It had like the guy like creeping up in the house, and there was a vampire just like running around in there. He had no idea where it was, and it kind of just jumped up right behind him. Loki gave me a little bit of a jump, but then he murdered it, and it was fine. But they have like all these different dungeons, like not like dungeons, I guess, but this like little smaller condensed areas where you have to like get rid of these giant like vampire hearts to get the vampires out of that particular part of the city. The only thing that's a little different from like a Borderlands kind of perspective is that, or maybe it is kind of like Borderlands, where like you pick a character and you run through the campaign with that character, and you can't just change characters on the fly. You have to, like, if you want to swap characters, you have to do a completely different save file for that character. which is kind of interesting. And I don't know how it's going to work in like multiplayer. Like, can you only have one of that character? So like if I pick like the chick with the afro, like no one else can pick her, or I don't know how that part's gonna work. But super excited for this, and I really hate that it comes out so close to Zelda, because when that game comes out, everything else doesn't exist. It is Tears of the Kingdom only.
I am happy for people that got excited about a vampire game that are actually getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that feels like. So
one day, Vampire the Masquerade 2 will come out, or whatever it was called.
maybe.
Maybe. Who was the developer behind that? Do we remember who that was?
Troika did the first one, but then it shifted. Like they had video, they had gameplay. It looked really interesting and awesome. And then out of nowhere, they're like, "Hey, we're not going to cancel it, but our development team's not where it needs to be, so we're going to shift to another developer and not talk about it for 2 years."
Yep. It is now being published by Paradox Interactive and Hardsuit Labs. Which Hardsuit, they're the people who did Killing Floor, I believe.
I thought Hardsuit was the ones they left to.
Or maybe that it had both of them listed on here, so maybe they were with Hardsuit and now Paradox is doing it.
Yeah, I think the Hardsuit was doing it, and then they were like, and then they give it to somebody else. And
this article says Hardsuit Labs was fired from Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
So, Paradox Interactive, if I could get that pulled up. I just want to see what other games that they are like known for doing. If I could get this thing to work. Not a lot. The last game that they are listed for releasing was Stellaris back in 2016, and they did City Skylines and Crusader Kings. So not as big of a track record as Hardsuit Labs, but not saying it won't be good. So one day Richard will get Vampire.
So this is an article from Comic Book Resources from this past November, so sort of fairly recent, 2 months old. The CEO of Paradox, this is a direct quote. "It feels really good with," well, translated from Swedish, but direct quote. "It feels really good with Bloodlines 2, and we'll likely be able to set a launch date for the game relatively soon. We feel that the game has been in very good hands, and we're incredibly satisfied with what we've seen. It's not impossible for the game to launch sometime within 2023.
So it's coming out in 2025. Got it.
We've not heard anything like, I mean, that was the president of Paradox Interactive. So, what does he know? He's not on the ground floor.
Hey,
so.
You know what, though? Dead Island 2 was in development for 8 years, and then they randomly showed up and said, by the way, this game comes out in 4 months. So, it's not unrealistic that later this year we're going to get Vampire the Masquerade 2, Beyond Good and Evil 2 might finally come out. Who knows? That this long announced game that we have yet to get a release date for, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, it might come out later this year. Who knows? Actually, I think that game's going to come out pretty soon, and I think they're going to announce it within the couple weeks because of that listing that happened on the eShop page thing that happened. And finally, though, the game that was leaked ahead, which would have been really cool if it hadn't, because it would have been a nice little shadow drop, because everybody loves a shadow drop.
We didn't know what it was, though.
True. We did not know what it was. Tango Gameworks, which they've done The Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, shadow dropped a game on Xbox called Hi-Fi Rush, which is a rhythm-based action game that is, quote, somewhere between Jet Set Radio and Sunset Overdrive, which that is a very good comparison to how the art style and the animations and everything kind of puts it at. I played it for about an hour this morning, and I was very impressed. The opening to the game reminded me a lot of Brutal Legend, which is one of my favorite games of all time. Just how the character gets dropped into this area, and how like the combat works and everything. It was very Tim Schafer-y without being all about metal. But yeah, like, so the dude kind of gets like a, I don't really know. I kind of know what happens, but before I keep talking about it, either one of you play any part of it so far? I know Richard said you played it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Jason, did you play
yeah.
it?
I did not.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, if it's what I think you're talking about, it happens in the beginning. So
Yeah.
can you really call it a spoiler?
Yeah, it's
Which
like
to me, he takes it a lot better than what I would. I would be so mad and just ticked off.
Yeah. So
I mean,
I love the robot at the beginning. They're like the sassy robot. So anyway, dude walks up to the counter. He's like, I'm going to be a rock star or something. He's got a broken arm, it looks like. He goes up to this counter. There's a robot there. Robot's like, what are you here for? He's like, I'm here to do something. She's like, she kind of just like gives him a side eye and just looks him up and down like, Anyway, they take him to like this machine thing that's supposed to like make him like fix him or something. And there was also like a Futurama thing going on because like he's like, I want to be a rock star, and in the bottom corner of the screen he gets scanned and it said he's gonna be really good at being like waste management or something.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, this guy's Philip Fry. But he through circumstance, when they go to like press this thing on him that's gonna fix him, his MP3 player gets like right on his torso, and then it smashes it into his chest, and then all of a sudden everything around him is rhythm based. And I think the combat's really freaking good. From what I've played.
And they were saying that the like I'm not like a rhythm gamer. Like I just don't really do good with those games. But they said like the combat is not limited to being good at that. Like you can still progress, and if you're not good at rhythm games, so I enjoyed that, and I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, and like I said, I played it for about an hour or so, and I really wish that I still owned an Xbox controller so I could play this with a controller. I've been playing with mouse and keyboard, but I feel like I would enjoy the rhythm combat better if I was playing with a controller. But
I thought you had an Xbox.
long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Stuff happened and the Xbox no longer exists in the house.
Ah.
Circumstances, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'm playing it on the console. Of course, I'm cloud streaming. I don't know did we talk about the latency issue on the podcast, or was that before?
Yeah, we did talk about it earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we won't repeat ourselves, but yeah, I'm cloud streaming it, so I'm gonna look into that later because it's not. I don't love it. I don't hate it either. So if you take away the rhythm thing, it does feel like a bland hack and slash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then you got the humor kind of adds to it, even though I hate him. I hate the dude. I really do. You know, the only reason I'm going, I don't know if it's, well, no, this isn't a spoiler. This is going to pique curiosity. If the cat hadn't have showed up, I probably wouldn't go back to it. So let that kind of nestle in there. So I don't know. I got to figure out the timing issue. That's the only thing that's really the art. The art is fantastic. I absolutely hate anime, but I'd probably watch an anime that looked like this.
I'm pretty sure there's like at least 5 of them that look like this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they'd have to have like good story and stuff too. But I mean, I was really impressed by that. You know, watching the opening and stuff. I was like, you know, this animation's pretty good.
It kind of looks like.
It's just.
Go ahead.
You go ahead, because I was just going to say that I'm climbing uphill trying to like this game because it's not called Evil Within 3. So that's also a part of the issue.
I was gonna say it kind of looks like a more like the graphic style kind of looks like a more polished No More Heroes, like the way that like it it's similar, but it's not, it's a lot more clean than Suda 51's graphics because they only show up on the Switch, so they're very choppy. But yeah, that was the Xbox showcase. I I didn't watch the full presentation. There was a lot of developer stuff that I'm sure that I weeded out of that. But this more focused thing that they've done, I kind of really appreciated it. And they still have a lot of stuff that supposedly is coming out in the first half of 2023 that wasn't here. So maybe we'll get one of these like every month or two where we can see more of those games. But
Yeah,
regardless,
Phil Spencer was like, yeah, we definitely 2022 let down our fan base. So I'm hoping this year is a good year for Xbox.
because if they have a good year, then Sony's going to go, well, we have to have a great year. So
Yes.
yeah, they're like, oh, sorry, we didn't release a lot of games last year. By the way, hey, Japan, we're raising the cost of the console by $40. So that sucks. But I mean, it kind of makes sense to raise the price in Japan because they don't really sell a lot of Xboxes. So if they're going to raise the price anywhere, just raise it where you're already not selling it. So,
but does that really make sense?
No, it doesn't. But
well, we don't sell them very well in Japan, so let's give them another reason not to buy it. Whereas somewhere where it sells well, you can get away with something like that. If you were to do it like in America where it sells extremely well, then you could maybe get by with the price increase. But then somewhere that you don't sell well, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's weird
because, like I said, it's like it's doubling down. You're not interested. Well, we'll jack up the price.
It's so weird in the U.S. because the Series S is always on sale for like $260 or $270, whatever, or bundled with a game. Meanwhile, in Japan, it now costs like U.S. dollars. It's like $360 with no game. So it doesn't make any sense, but hey, I don't make the rules. Somebody who gets paid a lot more than I do came up with that. And not saying it's a good idea, but they probably put more thought into it than I did, or I would have. So, but anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, we'll be hearing it from Xbox again sometime or in the summer, unless we get that Starfield presentation sometime before then, I'm sure. Where they confirm that game is definitely still coming out this year, but it won't be until like, I don't know, 11/11/23 or something stupid like that. But that is all of the news we have for you this week. Do you guys have anything you would like to plug before we close out?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit.
Oh.
So, I really wanted to get 100 views over the weekend, and I didn't. I got really close. I think I got between like 70 and 75. But I got a lot of positive feedback, and I got a lot of good criticism as well over the first video. It was really fun to make. I was excited to do it. I am going to keep doing it. There are more coming sooner than later. I do have some recommendations. I did receive some recommendations of what they would like to see me play in the future. So Dick Retro is not going away. It's here to stay for a little while. So enjoy it. Please watch it and subscribe to us. That way you can see when they drop, because, like I told you guys, I don't want to set in motion like a timeline and have like an expectation. I just kind of want to what's the little Salt Bay guy? I just want to kind of sprinkle them on there every once in a while, treat people. So, you got to follow us, and, you can get up-to-date information about the podcast, and you can find out when the next episode of Dick Retro is going to drop. So appreciate you if you watched it. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Also, if you're a subscriber, text your mom, your brother, your best friend, get them to subscribe. We're kind of doing a little bit of a subscriber push. You can hear more about it on the Dick Retro Show. Thank you for watching. I want you to keep watching. So
remind me to go over the analytics with you about where people came from to watch that, because it's kind of interesting. Chase, anything that you would like to plug?
Nothing going on. I don't know if it was, but Forspoken was $10 cheaper on Amazon with like a listed coupon. So if you were looking into it to get it, but it is a little high on price, then that may be a way to save some money. But other than that, I don't really have anything going on this week as far as deals.
Cool. Well, I got nothing going on either, so that'll bring us to the end of episode 118. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go watch Dick Retro Plays the Classics, mini or new series on YouTube, and we'll be back next week with more gaming news. Until then, have a good one.